Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm Marcia with Buy Sell Plan. I thought I would do a face-to-camera intro for something different and to show you the face behind Buy Sell Plan. I hope you were doing well and you had a great July. Today I'm going to be doing one of my favorite videos. It is my monthly plan with me. So this is where I sit down and reflect on the past month and set clear direction for the month ahead, both in my business and personal wellness journey. You will see me planning in my dusty blue vintage Aurora. I did post a video recently sharing where I moved into this. Actually, I think it was just a couple days ago, so I'll link that if you would like to watch. But I am still setting up my A5, and I have started, as you can see, making it really pretty. And I have started with filling in some of my inserts in the bigger size. So I'm not ready to plan in this yet. My goal is to use this planner for the month of August. I know what you're thinking, but you just set this one up. And my goal was to be in the blue one for the month of August. But this one is calling my name. I'm just craving more space right now. So stay tuned for that. All right, so July was a busy one for me. I've been tracking my sales numbers closely, and I'll share how things went compared to the goals that I set at the beginning of July. There were definitely some wins to celebrate, and some areas where I fell off track, and you know that I'm very honest and open about both. My process really helps me to see what is working and then what areas of focus that I need to adjust going forward, month to month, week to week, and so on. I'll also be checking in with my wellness goals. If you've been following along, you know that I have been really focusing on balancing my energy, staying consistent with my workouts, and keeping my nutrition in check. This month came with a few challenges, but I learned a lot about what supports me when life gets hectic, and I will be taking those lessons with me in the month of August. So in today's video, I will quickly recap my July results, and then we'll dive into how I set my new goals for August. I'll show you exactly how I map it out in my planner, map out my sales activity targets, and create habits that I need to support both my business and my health and wellness goals. My hope is that you will not only get a peek into my process, but also walk away with some ideas to help you plan and stay on track with your own goals for the month of August. All right, let's grab our planners and dive in. All right, so I did my recap on a note page, which I've been doing the last 2 months. So this will be month 3 that I've done my recap ahead of time. Kind of like that way, if I make mistakes, it's not a big deal. And also I like to see it all out before I put it in my inserts. But I did it in my A5 this month instead of in my personal wide. For those of you who watched my part 1 setup of this beautiful binder, I initially thought I was going to be using it as like for content creation and for wellness. But I started writing in it and I really liked how much space there was. So I'm trying it. I figure I'm going to set it up like a full planner, and I'm really liking it so far. So I've got my inserts in here for August. My goal is to use this for the month of August and see how it feels. I'm still going to keep using this like at home. I'm still going to be filling everything in case I decide I don't want to use this as an everyday planner. That way it's like I don't skip a beat in here, if that makes sense. All right, so let's go. My business section is where I have my KPIs. We're going to look at my KPIs first, and then we'll go through the other goals. So sales activity numbers is what we're doing now. So for the month of July, I did 194 contacts. The goal was 140. So I'm ahead by 54. And that was a big goal that I had for July, is making up my deficit because I have fallen behind in my goals. Leads, 7 out of 23. So minus 16 for that. Appointments booked and appointments held, I'm plus 2. And then contract signed, 1 out of 2, so minus 1. And then no new houses. We didn't sell any houses last month. And then the goal was 1, so minus 1. Now, out of these appointments that we went on, all but 1 are looking to make a move in March/April. So that's why there's no contract signed, which really bothers me because I want to see them all the same, but there's no point. It's so far in the future of getting them to sign something now. So yeah, we have a plan though for what they need to do for their house to get ready. And we have one of them as a buyer. So what they need to do with their mortgage agent and so on and so forth. So that come the new year, we're going to be, cooking with gas, as they say. All right. So year to date, you'll notice I have 2 columns here. This one is January to where we are so far. And this is November to July. So the difference here is if you watched my video where I filled out my business plan for this year, I shared in there that for real estate, we don't really start in January. Our year starts in November because any activity, appointments that we book, leads we generate, contracts that we sign, all of that, houses that we sell, is not going to give us a paycheck in the same year. So anything that we do in November, December counts for the next year. All right. So I decided to look at my numbers for the proper year to date. So November to July is what I'm looking at here. So 781 contacts, and the goal is 980 to be at this point in the year. So I'm behind by 199. And then for leads, 45 out of 161, so behind by 116. And then for appointments booked, 25, appointments held 24. So doing pretty good there, plus 11 for appointments booked. And then I'm ahead by 8 for how many appointments I've gone on. And then for contracts signed, 15 out of 14, so ahead by 1. And then for transactions, I'm ahead by 3. However, I'm behind in my gross commission income. So why is that? Right? If I've gone on enough appointments, I've signed on enough clients, and I've sold the amount of houses I'm actually 3 ahead of where I should be, it's because our average sale price has gone down with the market. House prices are going down. So therefore, when I set my goals based on last year's activity numbers, it's not as accurate because the average sale price and therefore average commission is lower. And it's only off by about $2,000, but it is enough that it is affecting our gross commission income goal. Also, we've sold a couple condominiums and like apartment condos or townhouse condos, and that brings the average sale price down as well. All right, so I know where it's at. I know where the gap is. So therefore I can course correct. All right, so that's how I did with my numbers. I just realized too, I forgot to take this out. We're doing our monthly planning right now. So recapping last month is where we're at right now. Okay, so that's that. And now let's go through my top goals that I set for myself. So goal number 1 for buy sell plan was buy sell plan, and the goal was focusing on consulting. What worked is we did launch 3 consulting services. If you are interested, I'll put the link below, and that is where you have an hour to an hour and a half with me, where I go through whether it's for business consulting or just planning consulting that you're interested in. So I have different levels there where I can help you tweak and perfect your system. Or even if you're brand new, I have an option there too. If you're brand new and want to build a system, that's what that's there for. So I've launched those services. They are up on the website, and I've got the format. Everything is ready to go. I had no time to promote it. So therefore, we didn't gain enough traction to book enough people and to put it in front of enough people for them to even know that this is something that we're doing. So that's an X. That is an X. Where's my black one? Okay. And then for real estate, my goal was to make up 50 contacts, and I made up 54. Woohoo! So focusing on deficit, time block 3 times a week, and then do content creation. I did time block 3 times a week. It went well. I didn't always stick to the exact hours, but the schedule still happened. So I'm very happy with that. I'm very pleased with how that went. So any day that I did, oh, sorry, that's like this past week. So I was flipping through this and, looking for all the days that I time blocked and if I hit my goals. And yeah, I did time block 3 times a week. So you might see some like remnants here where it shows that I erase. I use an erasable pen, and then I use my fountain pen when things have actually happened, but because then this gives me the flexibility to erase if I'm off the times. If I'm not off the times, I don't rewrite. I just keep it as is. But anyhow, so yeah, I did time block 3 times a week and it went really well. So like I said, even though I didn't always stick to the exact hours that I had initially intended, I still followed this. So it really helped me to have a schedule. And then content creation. Nope, didn't do that. Okay, so for wellness, my goal was to focus on getting to bed by 11:30 each night. You guys know what a struggle that has been for me. If you follow along week to week with my plan with me's, you'll know that it didn't go so well. So I did go to bed by 11:30 8 times in the month. So, you know, that's progress, right? But I didn't hit the goal. My goal was every night. Maybe that was too ambitious. What I am finding though is that it's easier for me to go to bed before midnight. So when I started to do a habit tracker or a habit focus on going to bed earlier, I found that when I set a goal to be in bed by midnight, that was a lot easier for me than the 11:30. So my goal was like, I want to month by month focus on like a half an hour or sooner. And I know I've had people say to me, well, maybe you're just naturally a night person, a night hawk. So why try to change something that is natural for you? And yeah, that is right. I've always been a night hawk, but I'm finding as I'm getting older and through perimenopause, I don't function the same. I used to be able to go to bed after midnight and still sleep 8 or 9 hours and function fine, but I don't now. Like I find that there's days, if I do it too many days in a row, I'm dragging my butt through the day and it affects like how I think, it affects my energy. And yeah, so that is why it is a focus for me. So I think I'm just going to keep it as just get to bed before midnight. I don't think I'm going to be being so strict on a specific time. Just get to bed by like before midnight. If it's 11, if it's 11:15, 11:45, great. So that's going to be my goal. Okay. And then tweaking my macros. I think I did really well with that. So I created a meal planner that we do have this in our shop if you are interested. And what I do is on the left, I track the meals that I eat. And then on the right, the macronutrients. So protein, carbohydrates, fat, but I also track fiber. And I've been focusing on, so this was month 2, July was month 2. And this has really helped me to see the trends that I was still eating too many carbohydrates. So my focus for the month of July was to eat less carbohydrates, less fat. Okay, so this is how I've been doing. And what this has helped me to see, so you can see here I was looking at how many, the ratios of how much of my calories, does that make sense? How much of my calories came from carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. So I have noticed that when I eat higher protein and higher fat, but lower carbohydrates, I feel good. I feel satiated throughout the day. I don't get the spikes with blood sugar or insulin. I have noticed that when it's time to eat, I'm not starving. It's, you know, it's sort of like, oh, it's been a few hours since I've eaten. I should probably eat something. And it's not like I am so hungry because it's been 3 hours, right? So now when I eat higher protein and higher fat, still eating carbohydrates with every meal, but just not so many, like lower carbohydrates, I find that I can go 4 or 5 hours and I feel great. So that's, yeah, that worked very well for me to figure out how my body functions the best as far as my nutrition. And then my other focus here was to do more, like make my core workouts a priority. And I would say I did not. I did a few core workouts throughout the month, but it wasn't like I wanted it to be 3 times a week, you know, like consistent. And it just didn't happen. I moved my body pretty much every day. I walked every morning. There may be 1 time a week that I didn't walk. I've done strength training. I think I did a couple dance classes. I've just been really into the more cardio focus and not the core. So that is definitely something I want to make a priority next month. All right, so now let's recap where I'm at year to date. We did recap my numbers for year to date. So now let's recap where I am at here. I set a goal here that I want to meal prep 3 times a week, but I don't think I'm going to do that. The purpose of that was to help save prep time because I'm cooking everything fresh. I'm not eating leftovers. If I do eat leftovers, it'll be the very next day. I don't go beyond that like I used to. I used to, you know, cook maybe 3-4 times a week and then have leftovers for a couple days. But I'm on a low histamine diet right now and inflammation, and leftover foods are not good for a histamine diet. So that was my goal with that, like chop the vegetables, and I just don't have the time for that. So I've got it down to a science now that I can, like, I'll chop and, you know, prep my meals, and it can take me like 20 minutes prep time, and that's not bad. So I'm not going to make that a focus anymore. Analytics, Ryan and I do look at our analytics for both of our businesses, probably not as consistent as we should be, but yeah, we are. I'm just going to kind of write things down as I go to make a focus when I set my action plan. I want to start vlogging for YouTube and Instagram. I love watching vlogs, and I want to do more vlogs. Let me know if you would like to see vlogs from me as far as, I don't know, behind the scenes, like, you know, my real estate work, day in the life of eating, whatever. Let me know in the comments below if you don't mind. I would love some ideas from you of what you would like to see from me apart from planning. It could be more planning stuff too, but yeah, I want to get into more vlogs. So haven't done that yet. I want to read 2 books. You know what? I'm going to set a goal here. I'm on the 3rd ACOTAR book, A Court of Thorns and Roses. And I've been on that 3rd book, you guys, since the fall. I'll get into it for like a couple days where I read like 3 chapters at a time or 4 chapters at a time. And then I just get so busy with the other things, I don't pick it up for like 3 weeks. I don't know why. I love reading. Maybe the story's not gripping me. I mean, it's good. Don't get me wrong. Like when I'm reading it, I enjoy reading it, but it's not something, I'm finding that it's not something that I'm thinking about throughout the day, where I'm like, I can't wait to see, you know, where it's going next. I don't know. That's probably what it is, but I do want to finish it because I do enjoy it. So I'm going to finish the 3rd book. I want to read 2 books this quarter. I don't think that's going to happen. But I want to finish the 3rd book in the month of July or August. So that way in September, I can start the 4th book. HDX, so that's my human design that I'm studying. And I did do probably 3 times in July. I did really good with that. And I'm learning so much, and it's so exciting. I love it. Content calendar, have not done that yet. I'm gonna write that down. Manifestation journal. All right, so those are the main things I'm gonna be setting, making a focus in this month, for this month. All right, so now we are going to set my goals for the month of August. All right, so basically what I set up here, I can only think of 2 really like top goals for Buy Sell Plan and for my real estate business. So for Buy Sell Plan, the goal is to have all of our inserts for 2026 in the shop by the end of August, because I know come the fall is when people are, I know me included, like what's my system going to be for the next year? If you are somebody who would be maybe wanting to try different inserts or different shops, things like that. So we just want to be ready so that anybody that is considering using our inserts and trying them, that we are ready to go, because we were not last fall. We launched, I think it was early November. So we've been slowly adding and growing our inventory as the year has gone on. So we want to be completely ready for 2026. And then I want to film my first series. I have 9 videos scripted I have a really good idea for a series that I want to film for YouTube. So yeah, I want to start filming that. And that's all I could think of so far for Buy Sell Plan. But let me see if there's anything. here, probably the content calendar. For real estate, focus on my deficits still, keep plugging away at that. Work 3 days a week. So time block and work 3 days a week, and then the other days are for buy sell plan. And that's all I could really think of. We've got a listing coming up in August, and then we have one coming up in September. So I do need to script a video to film for the listing that we're going to be launching. It's end of next week. But I don't know that that was worth putting in there because that's like, it's just scripting a video and then filming a video. I don't know. Maybe I will. And then wellness, core and strength. I want to focus on core and strength workouts. Prioritize rest. I don't think I did that enough in July. It was a very busy month. It was a very productive and good month. I felt really good last month. Really good. And then on Tuesday of this last week, I crashed. Yeah, I crashed after Tuesday. So Wednesday, I just, like, I did date some inserts and then I was like, I can't. Like, I just couldn't. And then Thursday was my father-in-law's birthday, so we took him out for lunch. And then we did have like a listing and a buyer appointment Thursday night. So yeah, I just like, I crashed. So prioritizing rest is really important so that I don't crash. And then a weekly media detox. There have been a couple days this month where I was just too busy and I didn't even pick up my phone. And then by the time bedtime came, I was way too tired to even, check. And I found that those were days that I was more focused and I had more energy. So yeah, I want to have a weekly media detox where I am not on my phone or social media at all for an entire 24 hours. Think I can do it? Can I do it? Let me know, because I'm slightly addicted. All right, so I'm going to get this all written down. I'm going to speed this part up. And I'm using black. All right. All right, I'm done. So what happened was my oven beeped. So I stopped recording and then I came and filled all this in and realized I wasn't recording. So I apologize, but here is my action plan. So I have my top 3 goals in here and I have my top 3 underneath, but I added a couple more on some of them based on this list. And then I broke them down weekly. Week 3 and week 4 aren't as full because we'll see, depending on how the first couple of weeks go, what I need to add. All right, so that is done. And now I'm going to schedule. I don't really think there's much to schedule in here. So yeah, I'll just do this real quick and I'll be right back. All right, I've got my month scheduled. I just love a fresh month. Looks so good. This column here is where I put like this, it's this week. So it's, anything that I need to do to prepare for what's coming up. during the week. So I've got those in there. And then my master task list is done. And then updating my KPI trackers is the last step of my process. And I have done that. So I will just share those numbers with you. So my social media numbers are in here. I grew by 16 for Instagram, my real estate one, and then I grew by 64 for YouTube. So welcome and thank you for subscribing to those 64 new people. So happy to have you here. And then for Buy Sell Plan Instagram, I grew by 21. And then my activity numbers are in here. I love seeing this overview. So this was my highest yet for contacts. So January I did 131 and then 194 in July. That's pretty good. Okay, that's it. That is my plan with me, how I recap the month and set new goals for the next month. I hope you got some ideas out of this for your own planning, and hopefully this will help you tweak your system, your process, and help you achieve your goals for the month of August. I would love to know what your top goal or even top 3 goals are that you're focusing on for August. Please let me know. All right, thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you have any questions at all. I appreciate you, and if you would like to see more of functional planning type videos, make sure you watch this next video next. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye.